So I'm just, like I always do in between sessions, sitting down working on the skull, I just meditate on it, just open myself to anything that comes through. To look at it different angles and see where lines would flow through the smoothest possible. And then do I need to doctor those lines to clean up that flow? Because I feel that on one level, the smoother the flow of energy in the patterns, uh, the smoother the energy that the healing will be able to. It's an alignment of sorts in itself. It's just getting things to have a really nice flow. It manifests on a visual level. It's more pleasant to look at, but it also, I feel, energetically, the magic, if you want to call it that, the healing energy that this has become, this is, just has more power to it. It's like oiling a good engine or something, I guess, would be the most mediocre, mundane way of putting it. So I'm just cleaning up little lines and things at the moment where it's at that stage where I can see the little alterations that I need to do to perfect it like that. It's for giving a flow. For example, if you imagine these, just if you think of a snake doesn't have sudden little bends and things. There's a nice flow. So I'm just aligning all that work. I'm also aligning over and under depth, finding places where I can go a little deeper for contrast that will get across something in the art to the eye of the beholder. So those are some of the things that I'm tweaking right now. You can see some dark lines where I'm going to be shaving things down a little bit. I did a lot of that yesterday. I brought this down nice and fine, so it comes from a thicker line slowly down, and I find the contrast between these thicker lines here and the darker underline here is starting to become quite pleasant. And that's an aspect of how I follow my golden thread, moving closer towards sort of an achieved end goal is just sitting with the skull at various stages like I'm doing right now, and just kind of opening myself to a feeling. What feelings do I get? Where does it draw my eye to? What needs work? What new ideas come to mind that I didn't even have before? That happens constantly. But I was talking to Raven just earlier, and everything I do, there's an aspect of a communication I'm trying to get across, whether it's my tattooing, whether it's carving a skull, whether it's doing a painting, whether it's just in the imagination of my mind. I'm trying to capture in everything, I'm trying to capture an energy that flows through everything. That is for sure. That energy, I constantly throughout my life learn new aspects to it or about it. So my understanding changes, and therefore my art will change according to that understanding. But this energy, which I both portray and work with, that energy with my tattoos on a human being. It's seeing their energy, going with that energy, and articulating in the form of patterns on the skin an energy flow that is that person, but is that person in a finer tuned state, so that their being will gravitate towards that finer tuned state that is placed on them. But not just placed on them, that's the obvious thing that an observer would notice is the tattoos being placed on them, but what the observer would not necessarily notice is the energy work that's being involved at the time on many levels, but there's an adjusting or a pulling in of creating tension in some areas and creating space in other areas for realignment to happen. And that's on a level that I can't claim that I'm so conscious of. I'm more conscious of allowing this, what I call healing energy, for lack of a better term. And this is coming right back to the skull. This is what I'm doing here as well. In a sense, in all my projects, I'm reaching through a portal into a field of all potentiality. And I know those sound like lofty terms, and I don't mean them in that way. I'm reaching into a realm through the aid of the creative process. I don't know how to get there in another way, in the effectiveness of how I get there and where I get to. So creativity for me, or an aspect of creativity that I'm utilizing in all my work, is my way of getting there, and it's my way of moving through and working with that energy while I'm there. So in the case of the skull, it's like I've reached through a portal that I've opened, and I'm bringing this back into this world from another world. Now, just trying to describe what that world is that I've reached into and brought something back from. On one level, it's the future, or it's a quantum potential future, as are many, as I don't believe there is any fixed result of where we are at the moment and where the outcome, or what's going to happen, what's going to manifest next. But in reaching into that quantum realm for, in this case, the work that I'm doing, the healing energy work on the whole collective, this literally, in that sense, comes from a place that has not manifest yet. And that's why it's healing, is because it's not petrified yet. It hasn't hardened. It is still in this malleable state. So you are seeing a skull that is hard and old. And this is the paradox, is you have this physically old, aged relic that represents death, but on an energetic level, it's fully teeming, writhing with life, with potential, with energetic, everything that you would look at as optimistic, if anything that revealed itself to you. So this is the embodiment of that potentiality that we all contain and we all can move to. And this is drawing us, the healing aspect to it is drawing us to that like a magnet. So imagine just this is a magnet from a potential future, the best possible outcome, potential future, drawing us to it. And that's my objective in creating this, is fine-tuning it with intuitive, listening to myself, what needs to go on next, to fine-tune this energetically, not just visually, to a level where it, working like a magnet, draws us to that perfect result, with nothing holding us back, everything moving us forward in the sense of towards the best possible outcome for humanity, humankind, the earth, health in general. And what a better energetic thread to or string, if you think of it on an instrument, to tune and to tighten, to get that perfect resonance, as with this.